Hello, everybody, and welcome to our bonus episode, one of them this week, of the Headspace podcast. It's your boy HSR,
And it's your boy Chris Chrome.
and
What's up? What's up?
we talking about XXXtentacion's new album Skins today. And for those of you who are new here, we're gonna do the intro. For those of you who want to skip it, check the description of the video, and well, you can just jump ahead to when we actually start. But we're a couple dudes. We're gonna run through this album track by track. We're gonna give our thoughts and opinions, what struck out to us, just have a little chit chat about it, and if you come in and watching it, there's a good chance you're a bigger fan. That's what we've come to understand. Virtually, like, everyone who watches our review likes the artist more than we do. No, it's not to say that we don't appreciate the artist, but we're just kind of listening to stuff as it comes out. Y'all really care about this. And so, with that in mind, any comments you feel like making along the way, corrections, educational points, frustrations, happy, sad, even if you're angry, just put it down there so that we can learn, we can appreciate X better for the kind of person he was, that y'all understand, and, just go from there. So that's the kind of attitude we want to have, open, and, so we can all learn. Anyway, before we jump into it, I want to give a quick shout out to our patrons, Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prados, Super Old School 1994, and Linda Williams. We'll talk a little bit about that at the end of the episode. And in the meantime, I think we should just jump on into this. So Chris, why don't you just reintroduce the album again?
Well, for this bonus episode, we went with XXXtentacion's album Skins.
Yeah, so we've done another XXXtentacion album review. We did the question mark one, which hopefully pops up here if I remember. And that was cool, but amidst this last year, obviously the man passed away, and I want to just say rest in peace. That was a tragic way to go out. And I don't really want to focus a lot on that. We're doing this album because, before he passed away, I thought he was brilliant in terms of the potential he was going on. And I wanted to just talk personally a little bit about the legal situations and the impressions and the attitudes to boycott and all of that stuff that was also surrounding him, because it does become a bit of a question, like, should we cover this album? To some people, just covering the album's a problem. To other people, it's ridiculous to not talk about it. I decided that for now, I'm not going to let my personal ethics get in the way of the music. And should I feel the need for that to change, it could. But in light of his situation, from what I understand, he did some bad stuff, allegedly. That stuff was being resolved. And then he decided to change his life and start doing, things different. And then before he had a chance to really, prove that the way that he wanted to, it all ended. And that's kind of how I see the situation. And I'm the kind of person that believes if you made a tweet in 2011 and you happen to, change who you are as a person in 2018, you shouldn't have to give up hosting, say, the Academy Awards because of a tweet from 7 fucking years ago, or even in multiple tweets. People, in my opinion, can change, can evolve, and can become something better than they are. And
it's funny because the tweet from X amount of years ago is from some experience or some situation, and it's only after that tweet that you learn from that.
Now, I want to be clear. I understand the charges laid against this man and that the crimes come off pretty fucking horrific when you describe them, and that they're not just some tweets. I completely understand that. But even to that end, the guy goes to jail, serves his time, let's say, comes out, Rubber for a Man, and makes inspirational music with the rest of his life. That's a possible way that this played out. He could have been a guy that could have reached young, angry people who could at least relate to him because he was a young, angry person. I'm not excusing his actions, but if we just silence him, there's no lesson in it. There's no gain. Whereas, at least right now, when you listen to this album, this is not negative music meant to hurt people. This is some, just spoiler alert, some uplifting and emotional shit, all things considered, for people to connect to. And I don't hate what he was doing with that. I think it's pretty admirable. And he acknowledged that his past wasn't great, and he's trying to be a better person. And I think that counts for something. Now, obviously, there are a few things that are probably beyond reproach, usually involving young children and stuff. And I can understand how everyone has their personal limit for what's too far. And if X passed your personal limit for too far, I respect that. And you're allowed that. But from my position, I see where he was going with his life. And I don't want to take away from that by like putting him on some kind of a boycott. Whereas like a Chris Brown, I'm a little less interested in supporting him, but at the same time, I just feel like the circumstances surrounding these two individuals are drastically different, and in the context, you can make that kind of a nuanced decision for yourself. Anyway, that's just, I wanted to talk about that before we talked about the album. As far as his music goes, my connection to him is we listened to that last album, the question mark one, and I was like, holy shit, there are some really fucking great songs on this project. They're short. It's not my favorite format, the way he puts albums together, but I also understand that he captures emotions and puts little snapshots together and puts that out. So it's like this beautiful little diary piece. And I kind of also really appreciate the way he makes his music because it's not standard. It's really expressive, and I like that about him. So I'm not the hugest fan, but before, like, from that last album review we did, I came to actually appreciate his artistry as a person. And the way I see it is if people are very willing to put on the Beatles and allow John Lennon to get old, grow up, and become a better person, then maybe we shouldn't be so quick to judge a dude like XXXtentacion. He could have become the next John Lennon, all things considered. You guys can say what you want in the comments. I'm just making a comparison. But yeah, that's what I got to say about that. What about you? How do you feel about all this situation?
I think he's just a kid, and it sucks what happened. He did not deserve to go out that way. So rest in peace. Just want to say that for sure. But I also think that a lot of people look at the celebrity world in terms of like what you do on Instagram, what you do on like Facebook and stuff like that as who you are. And I'm not saying that like it's not who you are, but I think that when you're making music, you have to separate the music artistry, the projects from who the person is. Like there's a lot of controversy in hip hop with a lot of well, not a lot, but like there's been some crazy situations that's happened over the last year that I've been caught up in certain conversations talking about some of the rappers, and I'm just like, look,
Kanye? Are you talking about Kanye?
Well, Kanye, 6ix9ine, X, like a lot of the ones that actually hit. I'm just trying to say, I've been caught up in conversations where it's like, oh, how can you listen to such and such person? And I go, well, why not? And they're like, well, he said this on TV. They did this, they did that. And I'm like, yeah, they may be.
But I think you actually touched on a really important difference between, say, 6ix9ine, who may have been duped and put into a bad situation and as a result did bad things, and like to XXXtentacion, who didn't have the greatest life growing up, and say a Kanye speaking freely without censorship in 2018. I just want to say there's a difference between the context and the nuance around those things, and it's okay if you selectively as a person put your censorship where you put it, and it's different for everyone because
total respect.
In my opinion, it's that nuanced. So Chris being able to separate it from the artist, I get that. But I also have seen, at least in this case of Kanye, really compelling points that by supporting him directly, it encourages him. So there isn't that necessarily.
I mean, look.
I'm not. That's just the counterpoint.
Okay, so from what I understand from that is like when I go listen to Kanye's track, it gives him a stream. He gets encouraged because I'm supporting him, right? Like essentially, cool. Like in my brain, that's kind of how it all works. Even if X was still here today, if I listen to his music, I give him that stream. That's kind of how I see it working. So I feel like it's the same thing. But it doesn't mean that I'm out here supporting what Kanye's saying. I'm not co-signing what he's saying. I'm not like co-signing what.
So like it can be argued that by like promoting this review, even we are in a sense co-signing XXXtentacion as a valid artist in a conversation where is he and should he is a conversational point. Now, I'm not saying that I believe that. In my opinion, you guys heard my speech. That's what I think. My thoughts. Chris, you're entitled to feel that. So if we understand, Chris, it's that the artist and man behind are separate people and should be treated as such, and that's how you're going to approach it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's right and wrong, but the idea that business and social politics aren't completely intertwined and that by making these decisions we aren't picking sides and stuff, that's not reality. We are. All right, so you do decide in a sense that because you know what'll make a Kanye West shut up, honestly, is if we all just stop bumping his shit. He would shut the fuck up real quick because he wants the fame more than
But see that brings up a point. Like, it's the same ideology that I had an argument with a friend of mine where he was like, and I'm gonna use 6ix9ine. He was like kind of shitting on 6ix9ine about everything and like posting all these things. But I turn around and I'm like, you do realize every time you post a negative article about the kid, someone else is gonna go and try to
okay, let's
You're
look at it a
also
little bit
you're
different.
like no publicity is bad publicity. You know what I'm saying?
I don't agree with that. It's been proven at this point that there is such a thing as bad publicity. Like the kind of publicity where you're getting shot at is bad publicity.
Okay.
So like even if you take 6ix9ine, this wasn't good publicity. He has Fed charges now. So like maybe there was some impact in the amount of sharing.
But I'm not
memes.
saying.
But my point
I'm not
is more,
saying that it's bad. That's good publicity.
when
Of course,
you
Fed charges
play
are bad.
his streams and his songs and you promote the artist and you listen to his music publicly, it's like supporting. It's not the same thing as criticizing. Now, even if the net result is that the fame increase and his name getting mentioned is a factual point, as a person, you shitting on something is not the same thing as you supporting it. They're different, even if the impact's the same. So you making the choice to support something is like saying, I'm on this side of the line.
You're co-signing. You agree with it.
And if you're shitting on it, you're actually co-signing the opposition. So one way or another, you're picking a side with that decision making, right? And I think that's the relevant point. The impact of fame, of course, if you hate my video, don't leave a comment. You're actually helping me by leaving your hateful comment. And I encourage you to do so if you think I'm fucking terrible or something. I want to hear it, and I want the SEO points because that's how the internet works, and I actually love data and shit. And it's so fascinating to me how hate can be propagated into other people's success. That's all true.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
but that's talking about the result of the action. We're talking about the intentions behind the actions, which are separate conversations.
Fair.
So I agree with you. The net result of complaining is useless in most cases. In fact, it's like a song I just put out kind of approaches that. But on the other hand, by not saying something or whatever, if you don't say something, you're picking a side. If you support it, you're picking a side. And if you're criticizing, you're picking a side.
Every decision you make, you pick a side, whether it's neutral, left, or right. And
the neutral people are my least favorite ones. No offense to y'all if you're neutral, but it's because y'all kind of let one side or the other win, and then often will come in after the fact with an opinion, or you just like completely ignore it and then have opinions. Either way, it's just everyone needs to know that they're an active participant in every debate, situation, and conversation in some way, even if it's through complacency. I digress. I think you brought up a great point that by hating, it is negative, or it does support the artist, but I don't know that it changes the fact that you're publicly declaring to everyone this is what you support. You see what I'm saying? Like just the political side of it.
In my own head, just to clear my thoughts, I'm gonna say that I co-sign XXX's music. But I don't even want to talk about like who he is as a person.
That's cool.
I
co-signed the direction his life was going based on what I saw. It was not a kid who was just still repeating cycles. He was a man who fucked up and was trying to do better. And he was trying to do better in an active and positive way. And I can't hate that. That's something that we should be applauding a little bit. Now let him do his jail time or whatever had he stayed alive. As we'll see on this album, that idea in itself is expressed, but I think that I'm not saying he deserves a free pass in life without paying the consequences of any bad things he did. I'm saying that I would have liked to have seen us give him a chance based on what I believe he could have done for a lot of people. I digress. This album's called Skins. It just makes me kind of picture it's going to be some raw emotions, like the different faces he's going to wear, like in a video game or something like that.
Like
And then
different skins.
the album cover is just kind of him without a shirt on, which is a way we see him much. I don't care much for him without a shirt. That's fine. It's not really,
I guess that connects with like the whole skins. You see his skin. It's kind of purity.
It makes
like
sense.
The bear.
I look at this cover and I'm like, okay. And then I move on. It is very not impactful on me, but I do imagine if you like him a lot more, you'll connect more to that. That's just whatever. It's an okay cover. I like the title though. Skins, all caps. I really dig it. It's a nice way to do it. And he does play with capitalization a lot in the song titles, and I know we're going to forget to talk about that, but I think it's interesting how he doesn't really, it's almost like he names the files in a certain way with cap locks on or off, however the state of the computer was in, and then that's just what the song gets called, is what I picture happening. Or he's intentionally using the capitals or little letters to kind of like signify emotional trends or something. I don't know. I didn't think too much into it, but I just noticed it. And if y'all have like facts on that subject, I would personally love to hear it. I don't know if you have more to comment here.
I just like the art style that he used on the album cover for the Skins. It kind of shows his like punkish side, his little kind of like rockish side that he has. It doesn't look like kind of looks free thrown around there. So that was really cool. That's really it. Everything else is not that intense of a cover. The album name is Skins. Again, it's going to be raw type of emotion. I think I tried to not go into this album with like any pre-expectations. Cause like my only experience to X was the first album we reviewed.
Yeah, about his first album, the first album we reviewed, which
So-
is Question Mark.
Right. So I didn't want to like kind of be like expecting anything, but I do.
I'll be honest, this album, as we're going to talk about, is basically what I expected it to be.
I didn't go with any expectations. I was just hoping for raw, pure emotions that I got on the last one.
However, my expectations were subverted in the introduction.
Wanting to disappear to a place you can feel outside of your skin.
I wanted to start this one off. I'm a little bit chatty today, so I might talk a lot. But the introduction on the Question Mark album bothered me a little bit because X kind of implied to us directly that if we don't like it or we don't get it, there's like something wrong with us and we're missing a point, which is a good way to dodge criticism in advance. So if you happen to not like it, well, there's something wrong with you. So fuck you. That's what it felt like when I listened to the introduction on the last album. I don't believe that was his intention, but that's how it came off. Here, we get this robot voice, which is cool. It's kind of like, one of those voice-to-text softwares, and it's whatever, text-to-voice. I said it backwards. And it just says, hello, you came here in search of a release, huh? Which is fair. Every album you put on to some degree or another, you're putting it on to find some kind of escape, some kind of release, some kind of whatever. And that's even what we're looking for, is what is the release in this album? It's like half the point of our show. Feeling the need to inspire your soul. That's what I go to music for. Maybe not you, but that's a huge part of my connection to music. Wanting to disappear to a place you can feel outside your skin. Yeah, I mean, maybe not as much at 31 as when I was 20, but yeah, totally still get that feeling. Well, you found one, a place within my mind. And that's what I fucking loved about it. I was like, now that's how you do an introduction, because he's allowing you to come inside of his soul, inside of his mind, and you want to escape. Well, here, come take a trip through me. See what it's like over here for a minute, and then you can go back to your world, and it's just going to be like a little experience that we share. For that, I thought it was beautiful. It's basically a fitting introduction to nearly any album that exists to it, you could say, but at the same time, it was such a, like, it made me want to hear the project, unlike the last one, which made me want to judge the project, which is just how I felt after hearing it. Either way, it was nice. It isn't like something I could see myself like putting on every single time, like usually with these kind of intros. The first couple of times is nice, and then I just start at track 2. So in this case, I'd give it a 4. It did its job. It was nice.
I see what you're saying about the last project that he did with the intro. I kind of felt a way like it kind of set me up to feel that he's gonna say some really outspoken shit, because it felt like he was trying to defend himself in the intro of the last project.
Right.
Which is totally fine. I mean, if I don't get it, maybe there's something wrong with me, cool. But this intro, it's kind of, I felt like it was starting up like some kind of, I guess, movie cinematic type feel in a way, where you get like the intro of where you get kind of walked down this like this hallway or whatever, and you're being taught, like you're being told before you get onto like the ride or something. So that was cool. I like how he's openly just reaching out to the fan and just kind of being like, I'm going to take you away. Don't worry. I'll help you escape from whatever it is you're dealing with. I kind of get that feeling as well. But I just, it was simple. I didn't really have much to say about it. I left it with a 3.7. Yeah, it was just
That's
nice.
fine. If your grades are too low, dude, you are going to need a guardian angel. All right, so before Chris tells us how he feels, let's just talk about the context of this song a little bit. So we kind of have a snippet of XXXtentacion and Shiloh Destiny from the song Jocelyn Flores from the last album, or 2 albums ago. I don't remember what album it's from. But either way, playing backwards in reverse. And at first, it like serves as an introduction, but then you realize this is just the fucking beat. It's going to be like this with like beat underneath it. And from an artistic point of view, I was really impressed with that. I was like, that's some creative shape. And I think right away, XXXtentacion has to be credited for the level of creativity he has, and that runs through the beat. And then, that was some cool fun context for this song, which also ties into its main subject matter. But how do you feel?
Well, I like the backwards part about so when the beat's building up and he's kind of speaking, you hear this like kind of backward speaking talk. He's when you read it and you listen to it forward, it sounds like he's talking about wanting to be pain. He likes feeling pain. He likes being in pain. It makes him kind of feel alive. So he somewhat kind of chooses to be in. I get this sense of he chooses to be in certain situations that cause him pain so that he can feel like he's normal or like feel like he's human. So that was cool. I do agree with Holden that the beat going backwards and kind of like playing under the beat is pretty cool. That was also interesting. From what I also get though, isn't this a story about someone who also passed in his life?
Yeah, the Jocelyn Flores is the she was a girl that I don't know how they were connected. Maybe they dated or they were just close, and she passed away. And he wrote that one song, which is about her, which is kind of what's being played background. And it's almost like it's coming back to that song and that emotion, so you know what this is about. And then he tears into kind of how he felt about this situation, you know?
I like a line that he says. He goes, "Feeling like a pawn to the greed of these fools, but I never been a piece of the evil." And it's like, it really kind of stuck with me because this is somebody that when you kind of see how he was acting, you kind of think like it's hard to not say he's evil, or it's hard to not say that he's not malicious or something like that. But hearing the music and really trying to understand and kind of going a little bit diving deeper into his situation, at least from what I did, right? This is my own opinion. It sounds more like just fear, confusion, and anger. A lot of it. So that was something that kind of sat with me. I like when he went, and the love in my heart is cancer, and I spread it through the walls as an answer to the cries of the dead and the vanquished, the depressed and the lost and the damned. This prevention of the peace and ideal world. The preservation of peace in the peace in an ideal world. And that again, like, it just kind of catches you off guard that somebody who we see or is portrayed to be a certain way is really just trying to look for peace, like an ideology.
But not just like look for it. It's like he wants to spread it. He wants to build it. It's like, you know, for the cuted chest from my mind slept and the love in my heart is a cancer. What do we know about cancer? It spreads. That's the first thing you think of, you know. Cancer spreads, you know. It's almost toxic, and it's almost a juxtaposition of ideas like this disease. His love will spread, and you know he's going to spread it through the wall as an answer. Like he's going to make sure his music, however it gets out to people, you know, the depressed and the lost and the damned, is preservation of the peace and ideal world. So if you're feeling a certain way and you're having some trouble, he's going to help you cope. Is kind of what I'm feeling through all that, which is, you know, reinforcing what I, you know, thought of him. And even if he failed to live up to these ideals he put forth to the pen, that's irrelevant because this is a little bit about the message he was trying to put out. In 20, 30 years, this is what's going to be remembered of him. Anyway.
Well, I like, and then I kind of like how he kind of twists it up at the end. He kind of goes into this talking mode, and he's like, kind of mentions about how somebody's being around and suddenly is gone the next day, and you never really know how that affects you until it happens. And it's like, I mean,
yeah, it makes sense.
It makes sense, but I'm trying to say, like, I don't know what it feels like to lose my friend yet, right? But the way he said it made me kind of feel like I made me feel something so much that it's like, damn, like that sucks. Because I know that, like, once it actually happens, I know like there's going to be an extreme like trigger and I'm going to like lose my mind. But the way X just presents his shit, you really just you kind of digs down and feel.
I feel like it's like, you know, you can go throw that track on and at least be able to relate to X.
Yeah.
You know, I like this. I think this is a brilliant direction of how you could take a song. I think it's packing so much emotion into it, and its flows just this quick, fast pace. Like, listen close. What is this? Is it heartbreak? Is it truly what it feels like? What it sounds like? And it just kind of paces like that. Like, it's this anxiety that he puts forth in the track. It's absolutely stunning. You quoted some great lines to give a great sample of what this track is. I mean, it is amazing. The beat is... You're going to love or hate the beat, but if you do love it, you're going to feel like me and get a shit of 5. Otherwise, I hope you're going to respect it and, you know, understand at least it's
Gave it a 4.
Like, it's a cool project. It's a cool idea. It's not boring to me. And it is the kind of, like, it's almost like the beat is such a bigger link, you know,
Yeah.
because it runs through his mind. And anyway, to me, it's really creative.
Absolutely. Well, I gave it a 4. I enjoy the creativity of the song. I enjoy the expression. I'm just I'm not gonna like a lot of the sound. Is what I know.
Okay.
Like-
Okay, Debbie Downer. Do you need some train food in your life?
Sure.
Weapon, I'm guessing his hands were just enough for me. Was no question, I'm guessing he laughs just at the sight of me.
Yeah, this song is next level. This is like a story, and apparently, according to like the engineer who worked on the track with X, this is purely fictional. And then I saw online that it might connect to a song where he did a deal with the devil or whatever, but that's fine. I think this song is just pretty ridiculous in its structure. It starts off very calm. I remember I walked home that day content with all my misery, told myself it'd get better, no clue that there was next to me. You know, and you just get the picture of him as he's just got this calmer pace, and he's got his hoodie on, and he's walking in a dark, dingy place, not paying attention. Honestly, like just like moping in his like self-misery in a way that we all do sometimes. But because of that, it's like he's blissfully unaware. And, you know, he's overdressed and he's like sweating, he's hiding, and maybe it's too hot. And then he took a different path for whatever reason. And then somebody was there, and they didn't have a weapon, but they were able to like grab him and shit. We get the chorus again, and he's still kind of recollecting. And then kind of like a little conversation, like, hey, how far are you from home? You know, what's going on? You know, like fishing or whatever. And he's like 30 minutes away, blah, blah, blah. And then it's just like a clunk. And then all of a sudden, verse 3 kicks in, and he's like fucking screaming practically. It's like this energy just explodes, like he was tied down to these train tracks, and he's about to fucking die. And he's like, you woke up on a train track with no motherfucking clothes on, death before your eyes, you praying to God, but ain't no response. Trying to scream for hope, just shoulder you can lean on, but ain't nobody coming. So you scream on, and you scream on, and scream on. It just keeps flowing, you know, and like he pictures what his life could have gone. Kind of reflects so quickly, like his life is literally passing before his eyes in the course of this little verse here, in a way that you almost picture it would be like if you were in that moment and had just a few seconds left, you know? And then now your time finally up. Ask yourself the final question. Is you going down or up? And he's still screaming. But then all of a sudden, his tone like just shifts almost to like this silly mocking kind of thing. Recollecting all the moments that you never gave a fuck. Now it's here. Death is now arrived. Time's finally up. And it just like abruptly fucking ends.
I like that tone change. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like an Eminem inspired a little bit, how he kind of switched up. That was cool. I like how he lets you I like how he does the fictional type of stories that allows you, or at least for me, allows me to kind of completely escape and kind of feel something that maybe I don't know, maybe I've never felt. And I think that's part of his uniqueness. That's part of what made him so special, is that he's able to convey what looks like simple emotions, simple anger, simple pain, but there is like when I hear him, I hear such brokenness. Even if like the beat's like really good or the verse is like impeccably fucking done great, there's still this level of brokenness in the way he kind of carries himself, which I guess is part of like the emotional side of him. So that was cool. I really like this song. I really do. I think that there's great flow to it. There's great energy to it. I like when he said, you finna die here on this train track, because clearly after death ain't no way you can find your way back. Thinking about your previous memories going way back. All them fucking dreams about a diamond chain and a Maybach. And it's like, to know, or at least to think, okay, I don't want to say I know, but to at least to think that X was so ready to just go to the extent of death to get away from whatever he's feeling, like that's scary to think. It's scary to think. I feel like he's also trying to reach out to people who may feel like this, so they have somebody they can relate to, and I don't know. It's really just a great emotional song. I gave it a 4.5. I think that even if you don't listen to him, just go through the song and really kind of see where you can kind of connect a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair. So, Whoa, Mind in Awe is an apt description of how Chris feels. I'll be honest, I have a lot less to say about this track. It continues on the theme of like snapshot emotions. That's what I'm calling what we're trying to say. You're supposed to be able to connect every song, and it is something different here. Now it's almost like this appreciation. That's what I'm feeling. Won't look back on my mom. Won't look back. I'm a shine. Won't let you cloud my mind. Won't let you cloud my mind. All my days I was crying, on my lows, on my highs. Told my mom I'm gonna shine. Told my mom I'm gone. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So he feels like a way in terms of maybe not connecting to people himself, but having this vision of where he's going to go with it. And it's almost like you feel him on this journey of like escaping and getting to this place on his own. And like, look, I am who I am and I'm going to make it. And then he's just like, whoa. And you feel like you coast on these woes as he's just like appreciating the journey that's come from this moment where he felt this way. And now he's just thinking back on it all, right? Like it's not his reality anymore, but it is definitely where he comes from. And he just, I don't know, he has no words. He can just say like whoa and put that out and he expresses that emotion.
I feel like I get this sense like I agree with the whole realization. I feel like he's kind of like, again, walking down like train tracks or something, not to talk shit about the last track, but you know, that's that moment that you see in movies, or if you've ever been there, you're just kind of aimlessly just in your own head and you just kind of start reminiscing about a lot of things, but you're also appreciating certain things, and it's just kind of like one big clusterfuck of just emotions, but you feel super numb.
Okay.
That's what I get from this, and I think that's why he had nothing to say on this song. The little verse he does, he's not looking back on his mom, he's not looking back on things he's done. I like the energy and the ambition to want to continue moving forward. That's good. But I think the real concept of this song is X wanted to have you escape.
Okay.
Like literally escape out of the world you're in and just vibe to the music and just listen to the way, because he can sing. And that's part of it too. Like I like his raspy singing, the way, his nonchalantness with it. And it does something. I can't put my finger on what, but it really just
makes
does
you feel,
something.
Chris. It makes you feel.
4.3.
That is not bad with an exclamation mark.
Going up, going down, turn up, turn around, love the way you moving now.
I mean, it's what it is. To me, this reminds me of like that Sway Lee kid a little bit. What I've heard of him and that super melodic, soft kind of whatever. And it's like, Shawty, heard you bad. Word. So profane. Something like a bad word. I'm not saying that's not poorly written. It actually is pretty clever because profane is like a bad word and it fits into the song and stuff. It's just, okay, I'm already not that interested personally in the subject matter. And, you know, something like, you know, going up and down, I believe comes up. You know, going up and down, in and out, turn around, love the way you moving now. I mean, it's a ladies' jam. It's meant to, like, play, you know, set a mood. It's another aspect of his personality. I might be insane, but I love the pain, feel it in the brain. Realize she just want me to hit it right because I get him going right. So maybe he recognizes that the way that the ladies throw themselves at him and he gets to go through this motion is shallow, vapid, and maybe a little bit empty. And he kind of explains this, and it has like this nonchalance to it. Like it is like, oh, the girl's just doing her shit because she's a bad chick. It's like, yo, that's what you're supposed to do. And it's like he's going through the motions, and I don't feel like he's necessarily loving it. It's just more, this is what life is now. And I kind of like that element of it, but at the end of the day, it's just a short snippet of like his, you know, girls want him. That's kind of what it is to
Got
me.
a little bit of like a different feel. I feel like he's more kind of questioning what this person's doing. Like, Shawty, I heard you're bad. You're doing certain things, such and such. And I feel like he kind of, in a way, yes, I get it. He's kind of accepting what the world is right now, what he gets to do with his...
Well, it's like his world is.
Right, like the level of fame that he has and what he's with his possibilities. But I also feel like there's a sort of, again, like, it's hard for me to disconnect from this numbness that he carries and this like, yeah, oh, it's Friday night, she's doing this, it's kind of what she does, she's a bad bitch, fine. But I feel like he's also questioning her, like, I heard you do this. Why? Like, are you okay? Like there's like he loves the pain of not really enjoying the moment, but more of kind of like destroying things and figuring out a
I looked at it
deeper.
like the person wants stuff from him, so he likes the masochism of continually putting himself into a situation where people want to use him.
I see that.
But
I
either
thought it
way,
was a banger. I thought it was an actual banger.
I give it a 4.25.
I give it a 4.5. My only question is like, he's not mumbling, but what is the reason of non-art like?
Flow. That's the answer to the question. To everyone who calls it lazy or whatever, what he's doing is not easy to do. He found a vibe, and he's riding that vibe to express the sentiment, and this is how he chose to do it. Not everything has to be, like, crazily enunciated super clearly. In fact, that isn't necessarily a core tenet of anything. There's tons of mumbly guys from all throughout history in terms of just, like, actual enunciation, but for the style he's going for on this song, it's just like, it's a looser, flowy kind of feel, That's what I would answer.
Fair enough. 4.5.
All right, the next one is Staring at the Sky.
Pitchfork pointed at my heart. I was staring.
It was kind of expected on this song. I'm not really one for the heavy punk metal screaming, but I understand it. I see his influences. I see where I see that he's got like that kind of elements there. So it's really cool that he embraced that. But I felt like I knew it was coming. On the last album, I was shocked. I was like, oh shit! Like he started yelling in my face. It was. He had that rock element, so I was like, okay, cool. But when he started like going in, I was like, oh shit! Like I'm actually shocked. This had a build up to it. I wasn't expecting it to be kind of cliche a little bit. The guitar strings and the simplicity in it, and then how he goes through it. I was like, okay. I enjoy that I enjoyed the honesty where he was kind of being open about like singing himself toxic lullabies. Again, kind of like reinforcing the fact that he loves pain and that he wants to feel human, so he's willing to like self-destroy himself.
I kind of took it more like he's moping and caught up in his anxieties and his darkness, and instead of like maybe healthily dealing with it, he's like literally screaming at the sky, like indulging all of his misery and like really just, in a sense, yeah, like enjoying the pain of it all, as opposed to maybe trying to solve it, or maybe it's just a coping mechanism, etc. But I mean, he is screaming out, "Run from your pain" in the bridge thing.
Right. So that was really it. I actually enjoyed this song. I gave it a 4.
I mean, I thought it was really cool. Just from the beginning, you knew it was going to be one of the more screamy ones because of the way he's singing it. It's got that aggressive shit. Travis Barker is involved in the production on this, which is excellent because I fucking love anything Travis Barker touches. I'm like, it's simple, right? Screaming words with no remorse, pitchforks pointed at my heart, I was staring at the sky. That kind of alludes, he's screaming with the dark intentions of maybe the devil coming at him in his whatever, and it was in your heart. It's about your intentions, your soul, your purity, And he just almost seems like this, he's having this like internal war with himself, just like a person screaming at the sky. And I really enjoy the way it builds up. I like the way that it explodes. I think this is a very strong song. It's definitely more in line with my taste in terms of cool shit. Like, I really love the punk rap crossover types. So it was great to hear this, and I give it a 4.5. I thought the emotion was real. The anger needed to come at some point. It's part of the human spectrum, and I think if you're trying to paint a landscape of human emotion, it's really cool to do something like that. And the way he captures these different emotions in such different frames of styles of music is amazing to me. Anyway, that was a dope track, all things considered. And then we flow into one featuring a certain somebody, Mr. Kanye West, because it's 1 minute.
Supporting my way, my heart's in the way of following my thoughts. Ain't no.
I don't 100% know what Kanye was going for on this, but I do think he said some interesting shit on this verse, right? First of all, I love the beat. The beat's fucking fantastic. Travis Barker's back, does his thing, really guitar driven, really heavy. Really awesome. This is like a Kanye West song featuring fucking XXXtentacion.
Which is great.
Anyway, so much hate at the top, it's a lonely place when you find out the ops ain't the only snakes and you're supposed to only know what you don't erase. The world only know what your worst mistakes. Okay, he's talking about himself, etc. But I like his point on... He's talking about himself there.
No, the whole verse is about him.
No, the part where he's like crash and come back with a swollen face, but I'm on the way. X hold the gate.
He got into a car accident.
Right.
And
Sorry,
he smashed his
that's not what
face.
I meant to say. Said that's all I'm gonna say. If he caught him a case and sent him to jail like a dog in a cage. That he's talking about X a little bit. It's a little side note to like, oh, so if he is guilty, throw him in fucking jail. Don't like destroy him in the kangaroo court of Twitter, which is something I feel that maybe Kanye connects to XXXtentacion, and their reputations are consistently under attack for their actions, and maybe people are lacking compassion for who they are. And that's what I'm trying to restate Kanye's position here with that. I don't know. His verse, I felt like it was a good flow. It was really rappy. Like Kanye was like actually kind of like trying. Because my mind trumps anything that a scholar could say. Don't know how to behave. We rage out at the raves. Dislocate an arm, just pop it in place. Because the damn, they ain't it. All the pain and anguish turned me into a man, so I ain't complaining. I'm like, okay, Kanye. I mean, you're basically stating here that you are smarter than everyone else. And if anyone tries to tell you you're wrong, you're not going to accept it because you know how to rage out and overcome and conquer. Oh, fine. Whatever. She wanted to give you the cookie, you famous anus. She gave you the pussy, but you ain't pay for the anus. It's kind of funny because he didn't have to pay for Kim's ass, which is one way to interpret that, you know, because, like, she had it when she got him, but still, he got the cookie, he got to play with it. I don't know. The defendant is guilty. No one blames the plaintiff. Got to say it in layman's terms while you wait on arraignments. Because if the jury said it, the payment is heinous. Give me 1 minute. My lady just fainted. My baby's crying. You understand what I'm saying? No, Kanye, I don't. I don't know what the point of your verse was, except if I were to hazard a guess, we should be a little bit kinder to Kanye due to his twittering and whatnot, and that he should get some kind of a pass and we should understand more or whatever. That's fair. To counter Kanye, I would say do a fucking better job explaining yourself, dog. Like, if you meant shit, say it. Say what you meant. Don't just say it in the most extreme fucking way possible. And don't delay your album twice. That was rude. Don't do that, Kanye. Anyway, I loved his point on X saying that if he's guilty, send him to jail, but maybe it's not your place to judge his soul, individual on the internet. And maybe that's a lesson we can all learn about life, that we should all stop judging everyone's soul like we're fucking God. Anyway, X starts screaming again and shit. 1 minute God, 1 minute, and the next one's mine. And I fucking love that idea too, because it's like a minute passed, you lost it, it's over, you wasted it, it didn't go your way, you took an L, whatever. But the next minute is still there, and you can still do something. You still have the power to change. You still have the power to make something. Very powerful statement. Screams out, you know, he's black. And I'm saying that just because this is what he said. He's kind of adding in maybe as part of the struggle, part of the situation for him. But I love this song equally as much as I love the last song. I thought it was really well constructed. I think it's Kanye was convoluted but got his point across-ish. And I didn't hate the verse. You know, I thought it was really good. I thought the song is something I could listen to when I'm in the mood for that weird experimental. It would be a good one to put on after Black Skinhead. Anyway, I give it another 4.5.
I think Kanye actually did a good job on his verse, in my opinion. Granted, he could have been a little bit more just straightforward, but so okay. Take the song, for example. It's called 1 minute, and the song's about how you lose a minute, you take control of the next one, you gain power, and you go.
Well, that's X's part.
But I think
Kanye's part is a little bit like, well, forgive me.
But from what I took from Kanye, I'm not saying I didn't take the whole well, forgive me, but I did take away kind of like, I've been in a car accident, I've been dealing with this, I'm dealing with whatever's on Twitter. My wife doesn't know what's happening because if I erase it, she has to, like, I kind of feel like his entire verse was just, look at all this shit I've been through this last 2 years. Let me take my next control.
Which look, I just want to counter that idea. I'm not saying you're wrong. You're actually probably right in your interpretation. But again, to Kanye, you done some really dumb shit. And if you keep doing dumb shit, your excuses don't count. That's the thing. It's that, like, when given the opportunity to stop doing dumb shit, he stuck to his guns. And granted, I saw Jimmy Kimmel set him up. I'm not saying that shit didn't happen to Kanye as well, but...
Jimmy Kimmel set him up?
Oh, man, you should have seen him, man. This interview's going on, and Jimmy Kimmel just won't drop it. Like, Kanye flat out is like, I don't want to talk about this shit. Let's move on. And Jimmy just kept asking him questions to bait him so he could have a TMZ moment. Jimmy Kimmel is the fucking worst. He is my least favorite of these motherfuckers. Anyway.
Rough.
He sucks. He's just stoned, and he makes potheads look bad. He just says dumb stone shit in every fucking episode. Like, his eyes gloss for how high he fucking is. Or he's drunk. I don't fucking know. Anyway, he just sounds like an intoxicated fool every time I see him, and everybody loves him. I don't understand. Okay, that's not really the point. Think about it. Go watch him when you get home and think about it. See if I'm crazy.
I forget which one's Jimmy Kimmel.
Just Google him after. Anyway.
Right. Anyway, so that's how I interpreted the verse. X did a great job. It was cool. I like the energy in the chorus of taking back that minute that was lost and regaining that like pride or confidence. But I think that I have to still agree with Holden. Just kind of make it a little simpler if you're gonna do whatever it is you did on this verse, Kanye, because I'm interpreting what I think you're saying.
Well, you kind of had to listen to Ye first to have any context.
Yeah. I had to give a shit about your life to care, to understand what you're saying in the verse. So, overall, I liked it. I gave it a 4 out of 5.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the difference interlude.
I could buy you anything.
He's plucking on his little acoustic guitar, a couple little snaps going on in there. Baby,
I don't think it's snaps. I think it's somebody on a keyboard.
I thought it was snaps that I heard. Either way, baby, I just want to show you things. Girl, I'll be different. Baby, I could buy you wedding rings. Don't care about the distance. Repeat. Sorry, changes it to give a fuck about the distance. Ooh, yeah, let's play it back. That's all the lyrics. Now, it's an interlude, and that's cool. But I wasn't very interested in this song. It kind of comes in a little bit slow. I get that he's having a little moment where maybe he's talking to an ex or somebody that means something, or he's trying to deal with this problem. But you know what? It totally fits the motif of the album in terms of snapshots of emotions. It's actually pretty well constructed, but it also feels like it lacks the depth of other ones on this project. For me, the beat wasn't anything substantial. It was just very simple. And I guess that's the point he's going for. But for me, it just kind of came off a little too simple, a little too nothing. It was just a little interlude, which maybe that's the whole fucking point. And I don't know, I'll give it a 4. I could live without it.
I think that after coming off of 2 really heavy tracks where X is like kind of showing us his screaming abilities, his anger, and he's kind of being very passionate in a very strong way, it was cool to get that instant switch up where he's really calm, really soft, really vulnerable in a sense, and he just wants to be with this girl and marry her and have these wedding rings with her. I also like to look at interludes as like setting up the next part of the album, because generally, from my experience, every time I hit an interlude, the next couple of songs kind of have like that same type of feel
Great point.
Little message. So I think that he put in this interlude to kind of and I'll say it at the end of the album again, but I think he put in this interlude to kind of soften up the last 2 tracks of the album in a creative way to kind of like tie it all together, because the last 2 tracks that we're about to talk about don't have the same type of like.
So what'd you give this one?
I gave it a 4.
I Don't Let Go. Let's just talk about the next song. I'm not as into this one either. There's this like high-pitched singing going on. I mean, it's fine. The beat is very interesting. I don't know if I like it, but I think it's interesting to listen to.
Flutes.
Yeah, it's got like I guess maybe I'd say the flutes, the kind of different kind of percussion. It creates a
kind of
different
modern, feel. Like a little bit like the wave.
More worldly. Like less so much like this is an American sound as like, hey, this is kind of like something cool from over there or something. I don't know where there is, but I really enjoyed that. The beat, I mean, we just talked about that. As far as the actual song goes, he's kind of fine. I don't know. It just kind of sounds like girls want him, and he fucks them, but like they want more from him than what he wants to give them. And I was like, okay, I don't really care as much about this one. I'm sorry if y'all do. It's a beautiful sounding song, but there's not a lot of stickiness for it for me to really go that deep into it. I believe he's as quality on this song as on the other ones, and he's as expressive, and he does his job adequately. It just didn't really connect with me in any meaningful way. So I give it a 4 because it's a good song, but it is what it is.
He's explaining his fight with wanting to sleep with a bunch of women that are attracted to him while he's trying to be loyal to somebody. In like the first verse.
Okay.
In
I mean,
the
that's
first verse, he kind of goes like I'm on your thoughty mind. I don't need you. I've got somebody holding me down. Like he says it in the first verse that he's trying to like be. He doesn't need to fuck with these women because he's already got somebody who's trying to hold him down and shit. But I think he's expressing the fact of like, I don't know how to let go from a lot of my bad habits. So it's like an apology letter in a sense. Because he does also mention that he's kind of like in the second verse that he kind of wants to have fun with whatever girl's with him at the moment. And like they want to kind of get a little bit intimate or whatnot. But I think that it's a very creative way in like that kind of growing up feeling, that mature feeling that like you're kind of one way, but now you're starting to feel like you want to settle down and commit and start becoming like, I guess, a man or whatever it is. But then you slip up because you have so much money or you have like so many opportunities to get away with certain shit. And I think that's what he's trying to explain on this track.
okay.
It was very, and again, like I was saying a little earlier from the interlude, this song didn't have the same type of energy or feel anymore. I feel like this is more of a like, I'm coming to realizations. Like I've explained you guys my emotions. I've gotten the anger out, and now that I've screamed, because the interlude's right after he started yelling. Right now that I've screamed and really let my anger out, I just want to kind of calm down and just let you know the broken inside of me, and then
That's very fair.
yeah. So that's what I thought of that, and I gave the song a 4.2.
Fair enough. And the last one kind of really does follow suit on that same idea with What Are You So Afraid Of? I feel like this is X talking to himself and like everybody at the same time, but mostly himself. What are you so afraid of? Is it love or wasting your time? Or is it wasting your time through love? Or, you know, in this sense of the emotions we just had on the last track and the kind of the follow through, if we look at this whole project as dealing with getting over a relationship or the emotions attached to the pain of love and stuff, it kind of does have that flow throughout the album, culminating into like it's like you're at that point, you're gonna do it again, you're gonna go fall in love, you're gonna move on with your life, you're gonna, you know, stay trapped. So it's kind of calling out, what are you so afraid of? Is it love or is it wasting your time? Like, understand your emotions, actually take the time to figure out what specifically you are afraid of so that you can deal with that situation. And then he kind of again lacks maybe the words to put it out and uses the oohs to like kind of convey the point and really drive it home in like a hooky melodic way. I mean, I'm not again the biggest fan of this song in terms of style because I like my harder stuff, I like the Travisy stuff a little bit more, and the first ones I felt like were a little bit more interesting, but from like the way it fits into closing up this little project and considering how short it is and this little snapshot here, it almost feels like peace, like you're ready to move on. Like this is a good closing to this little chapter, and I recognize how good it is as an outro, even if it's not like one of my favorite songs. I give it a 4.25. It's well constructed, simple, does its job.
I liked it. I think that again, it does follow suit with like the kind of album change that it took, the tone that it took, and trying to end on a positive note. It's interesting to see. It's interesting to hear, like, after going through all of the songs and getting all of these raw emotions, raw feelings, raw pain, he asks himself, what is he so afraid of? Like, you've been through all of this. I feel like he's kind of staring himself in the mirror like, buddy, like I've been through so much. Why am I still afraid? And I think the way he conveys his curiosity for fear or the confusion of why he's not afraid is really something to really look into, like just my own personal curiosity. Like it's just cool. Like on a psychological level, it seemed really cool for me. It's something that stuck with me after this song. I left the song with a 4. It's not my favorite sounding type of track. It's not really my own vibe. I prefer the last one better, but
Right.
It was really, really cool to end on something so not X-like to me.
That's fair. I mean, I guess that's the project then. I mean, it's a really short thing. 10 songs. Each song kind of carries you through a little emotional journey, focusing on a specific element of, I guess, heartbreak or in general just his journey, etc. I gave the album a 4.375. I feel like its curse is his best thing. Like it. So I said that really badly, but the thing that makes it the best is also what's going to hurt it a little bit. It's very all over in terms of each song flows and transitions, even to a point where like you go from like soft rock, softing kind of nice sounding stuff to like straight up screaming and punk energy. And it does cover a wide spectrum of human emotion. And on that front, he absolutely achieves his goal. But on that note, if you like certain styles better than others, there's going to be songs you like more than others. So he will get you with something on this project, in my opinion, but you're probably not going to like all of the songs on the project. And I'd be super curious to know what your favorite one is. But what about you?
I gave the album a 4.1. I enjoy it. I like all of the emotions and the energy that he brings to the table. I think it's just I have other type of music that I listen to, and I kind of feel bad that I might not go back to this album as much as I kind of seem like I want to. It sucks that we might not get another X album. Like, I just want to say that, and I do want to take another moment to say rest in peace, and you know, you're in a better place now, because whatever we heard on this album and the last project, it's slightly scary to know that you feel like that he feels this bad, that he feels these type of things to an extreme that is
I think it's really honest, and I think a lot of people feel that thing, and the fact that people are going out there to say it. I mean, if YouTube Rewind 2018 called out the bravery of mental health from creators speaking forward, then XXXtentacion should be heralded amongst those people equally for what he did in his efforts here on that note. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. We totally appreciate it. Don't forget to let us know in the comments what you thought, what you feel, your favorite X project, all that good shit. Just let's have a little discussion. I'll answer you. Special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Pratt of Super Old School 1994, and Lindell Williams. They support us. They want to see us grow, get better shit, and just have a higher product, a more ability to research and do better things with it. So if you want to see us grow, you can join the request pool, where when you sign up, you get to tell us what album you want to do. We'll get a review out real quick, and then you join the queue. And once a month, there's an album that will be coming directly from one of the patrons, like in terms of what we cover. You also get access to content early, so we'll soon have a Discord up and running and a couple other shit like that. If you're not down for that, you can do the normal cheesy shit like subscribe, comment, and like. You say comment a whole bunch. And if you're not down, hit that dislike button, and don't hit that bell because I upload a lot. And just check out my new EP. I dropped it. It's on Spotify and shit. It's down below in the comments. Let me know what you thought about that. Thanks, Lindell, for checking that out. Anyway, we'll be back soon with more shit. We're recording a couple today, so peace.